Hey there, everybody. Josh Bycer here from GameWisdom.com. It's been a very, very long time since I talked about Payday 2. You should probably remember around the time of the completely overkill and microtransaction debacle. Since then, developers have been doing their best to make amends to the community, including the recent Update 100. They've completely redone the skill trees. They've also are going forward removing all the microtransactions. You can now get them for free essentially as long as you can find the safe in game. But also with the update has come a massive skill revision to the point that it's actually got me back at square one in a sense of trying to figure out how to build these characters. So I figure since this is probably the best time for new players to jump in and look at things, I'm going to go over the changes to the skill tree here and talk to you a little bit about what to expect when you log on. If you notice, I'm wearing a new mask. They did give the people who got the completely overkill pack new mega masks. So, out of the interest of showing off slightly, I'll let you guys see them. So that was Mega Plague Doctor. Here's Mega Cthulhu. Cthulhu? Mega Death Wish. Mega Kawaii? Kwai? I cannot pronounce that. The sparkle in the eyes, I think that's what sets it over the top. Oop. And Mega Kevin. I'm not even sure which one I like the most. I've been leaning towards Mega Plague Doctor or Mega Death Wish. But that's not important right now. What is this new thing. We have new skills. I'm just trying to remove everything here. And while I'm going through and removing all this great stuff, you can start to see some of the big changes that they've been doing. Previously, for those of you who did not play the original version of Payday 2, the 5 skill trees, 4 from the original, 1 added on, were very wide and expansive, basically putting points that any part of the tree would unlock progress in the whole tree. This meant that expert play was built around getting to the skills that you wanted and basically getting quote-unquote dead skills to fill in the gaps. What they've done, as you can see, is streamline things down quite dramatically. Now, each class has 3 subtrees that are supposed to represent different aspects of that. And then each one of those subtrees essentially acts as its own tree. I know it's a little bit confusing, but what they've done is a lot of the core skills for each class are now along the bottom tier. And as you work your way up, you're going to find more and more powerful skills. And then the final top rank are like the skill definers, the big ones. So we're going to go through each one and show off what they are and what you could use them for. So, starting with the Mastermind, they now have the Medic, which has consolidated all the healing and reviving base abilities into one subtree. Now everyone starts with their entire inventory open, as you can see. The only thing I'm missing is a suppressed sentry gun, and that is because that is a unique perk to the specific technician subtree, which we'll look at in a few minutes. But now I can bring a doctor bag if I wanted to. I can bring ammo. I could bring first aid. It doesn't matter what I'm speccing. I can build or I can take anything I want. So the first rank, Combat Meg, as you can see, gain 30% damage reduction after reviving, and then you can increase the health someone has after reviving. Basically more useful on the higher difficulties to give someone a greater health buffer for when they get up. And then the first tier here, or tier 2, or I'm sorry, tier 1, we have first the quick fix, decreases deployment time, and people who use your kits or bags take 15% less damage. Painkillers, crew members survive take 30% less damage, and it can be upgraded to additional 50%. Or I'm sorry, it's increased by additional 50, so it would basically be 80%. Uppers increases the number of first aid kits you have, and you can add 3 more first aid kits, and it will revive someone if they're down in a 5-meter radius. So it basically lets your first aid kits almost act as quasi-doctor bags in a sense. It won't remove your downs, but it will allow you to help someone up and gives you more of a strategic use for placing those kits down. Combat Doctor, deploy 2 doctor bags instead of 1, increases the number of charges. And then, of course, the fan favorite, Inspire. The basic level, crew members are revived 50% faster, but they have nerfed the Ace version. It's now 100% chance, but it cannot occur more than once every 20 seconds. If you remember from earlier in Payday 2, people just basically shouting at everyone the second they went down, getting them up, letting them fall down, letting them get up, etc., etc. Now, the big change though, as you can see, because each one of these subtrees are separate, putting points into this has no bearings on either of these subtrees. Same goes for the other 4 trees and their respective subtrees. So, what this means is you do need to be a little bit more specific with how you define your builds. If I want to get Inspire, it's going to take a lot of skills, and the cost just keeps going up. Cost 4 and then additional 8 to max. So we'll drop that all out. There we go. Gotta do it in order. They'll probably change that at some point. Controller, this is where all the abilities to make use of civilians and converting cops. So force friendship, increase the number of cable ties you have, and you'll also gain damage absorption at the ace level. Now, Confident increases the power and range, and you can now have 2 converted enemies. That's actually an interesting one. Before, you could only have 1. And of course, typically on like Death Wish, they would get just swarmed and killed. Joker, of course, the classic one, allows you to convert a non-special enemy. And then the Ace version, they take 55% less damage, they deal more damage, and decreases the conversion time. And then that gets further modified thanks to Partners in Crime. Having a converted enemy increases your movement speed, and they take 45% less damage. If you have the Joker damage reduction, it multiplies the effect. And then the Ace increases your health, and they take even less damage. So this is starting to give you the option of actually having like your own little private group of people to help you out. And with the combination from Joker, Confident, and Partners in Crime, you can really keep yourself and your group alive with these basically human shields. Stockholm Syndrome basically takes away that perk, Intimidated by Noise. That was, I think, a different place on the original tree. And then the new one, hostages will not flee when they're rescued, and they will automatically trade themselves for your safe return. It can only occur 1 time during a heist, and it can happen during an assault wave. That is a really big deal, as previously you could only trade people back after the wave has ended. If you have the skill Ace, it allows you to basically come back as long as you have a hostage during an assault wave, to help your crew out. Hostage Taker, having at least 1 hostage or converted law officer makes you regenerate health, and then the higher rank gives you 4.5 health. This was another high tier tree on the Mastermind originally, and it can still have some use. It only goes for you though. If you don't have any health regeneration abilities from like your perk decks, this could still be of some help to you. Sharpshooter. Originally these skills were between the Mastermind and the Fugitive, and even some Technician. And now it's all been consolidated right here. So we have weapon stability and then weapon accuracy. Snap to zoom. Your movement speed is unhindered while using Steel Sight. That used to be a Fugitive skill perk. It's now been moved over here. weapon level increase, and accuracy with SMG, assault rifle, and sniper rifles increased by 50. Marksman, 8 more weapon accuracy, and then 20% accuracy while aiming down the sights. Aggressive reload, increases your reload speed with SMG, assault rifle, and sniper rifles. And you see this is all built around those weapons. High value target, this is the ability to mark that was originally on the Mastermind. Enemies you mark take an additional 50%, and you now mark specials just simply by aiming at them. And then ammo efficiency, this is I think a new skill. Getting 3 headshots in less than 6 seconds will refund 1 bullet to your used weapon. And then the ace version, it goes down to 2. So essentially this is for the people who are good at aiming and probably using an assault rifle or a sniper, allowing them to recover those bullets, which the sniper rifle has less bullets than your assault rifle. Moving on, we have the Enforcer, which is now broken down to Shotgunner, Tank, Ammo Specialist. I need to take a quick drink, 1 second. So the Shotgunner now consolidates all the abilities built around close range shotgun action. You of course have your Underdog, which if you're within range of 3 or more enemies, you receive a 50% damage bonus. And Ace, you take 15% less damage. Shotgun CQB, reload shotguns faster, and gain increased steel sight zoom speed. That was not easy to say. Shotgun impact, weapon stability, and you deal more damage. And then of course you deal even more damage. Close by, you can now hip fire with your shotguns while sprinting. Shotguns with magazines have their magazine sizes increased by 15 shells, and you get even more rate of fire. Far away, you get accuracy bonus and effective range while aiming down the sights. And then Overkill, this is the same skill originally on the Enforcer line. When you kill an enemy with the shotgun or over 9,000 SAW, you get a 75% damage increase. And then the Ace version applies to all weapons except for grenade launchers. I believe, let me just double check that. Is the SAW now permanently unlocked? Yes, it is. So now everyone gets access to the over 9,000 SAW. Where originally that, once again, was just a skill you had to get at the top line of the Enforcer. Okay, moving over to the Tank. This is, of course, for armor and resisting damage. Increase your armor recovery rate by 15. And it's also combined the flashbang resistance perk from the Enforcer. That one I think was 2 or 3 tiers up originally, so having it as the tier 1 ace is actually really powerful. Die Hard, you take 50% less damage while interacting with objects, and increases the armor of all ballistic vests. Transporter, this is of course the classic skill we all like. You can throw bags 50% further, and for each 10 armor points you have, the bag movement penalty is reduced by 1. So it basically lets you move quicker the more armor you have. Shock and Awe increases armor recovery rate, and now that's been combined with a skill to knock back shield enemies and melee knockback chance 100. That used to be a top tier skill. It's now at the 3rd rank. I think that gives a greater chance of being used. Bullseye, you regenerate health for each armor for each successful headshot, and you can do that even more with the Ace version. And then Iron Man increases your armor value and then lets you wear the Combine Tactical Vest. So this whole sub-tree is built around giving you more ways of taking the damage and now also recovering from it and giving you more survivability in the process. Ammo Specialist is all about increasing your chances of getting more ammo and making it less likely you'll run out. So the first one, ammo pickup range increased by 50, and then every 6th enemy you kill will drop an extra ammo box. We have this. Oh, I'm sorry, so the SAW has been moved over here. And then you can place it You get the additional saw blade. It's still actually quite low. The portable saw, I think, was tier 5, or tier 6 on the original. It was really high up to get for the Enforcer. Now you can pretty much get it literally with spending 3 points. Bulletstorm, this was another Enforcer skill. Place an ammo bag down, and then you can shoot for up to 5 seconds without depleting it. And you can increase the base duration by up to 15 seconds. Similar to the Doctor Bag one, you can now place 2 ammo bags, and then Ace increases the ammunition. Saw Massacre reduces the wear down of all blades. And you can now saw through shielded enemies, and has a 50% chance to cause enemies to panic, which means they won't be able to attack and they'll just stand there shaking and quivering. And then Fully Loaded increases total ammo capacity. And then Ace increases the amount of ammo you gain by 75%. You have a 5% chance of recovering a throwable, which means you could actually get grenades and Molotovs back. That's actually very interesting, because normally the only way to get those back, I think, was to use an ammo bag. Or you may not even be able to get them back. It's been, as I said, like 4 or 5 months since I last played. Technician has definitely seen some big improvements thanks to the changes to sentry guns and the C4. So this first group, Engineer, base cost deploying is reduced, and your sentry guns gain a protective shield. This one reduces the cost by additional 48% and gives it more health. Sentry guns gain increased accuracy and will hold more ammo. So this is the special one. This is one a lot of people have been talking about. The basic one lets you deploy 50% faster, but the Ace one basically lets you carry both C4 and sentry guns at the same time. Okay, as you can see, the twist though is that wherever you have as your secondary deployable, you can only bring half of. And you can press X to switch. So again, this will let you, so this actually works with all deployables. Now that's very interesting. It essentially means you can carry 2 of any of this stuff. So if I wanted to bring an ECM and a sentry gun for ultimate denial and keeping the enemies at bay, I could do that. If I wanted to bring both an ammo and doctor bag and basically be the one-stop shop, I can do that as well. Very nice. Engineering, you can now select a less noisy version, and you can also create the AP round, lowers the rate but increases damage by 250%, and allows it to pierce through enemies and shields. Essentially, if you want to create a killing floor for your turrets or your sentries, I'm confusing Team Fortress with Payday. And then tower defense, you can carry an additional sentry gun and then carry an additional 2. Breachers for all your drilling needs. Basic level, fixed drills and saws at 25% faster. They also now automatically come as silent, which used to be a higher up skill in the tree. And the Ace version gives a 10% chance to restart while breaking. So now everyone can really fix that stuff earlier, a lot earlier, as a tier 1 skill. Combat Engineering, trip mine explosion increase, and then damage increase. Drill Sergeant, timers are decrease, and then decrease again. This one, more firepower, gives you more shape charges and trip mines. What's interesting about this is that it seems like you automatically get the shape charges, which used to be another thing you had to get separate. Kickstarter, they gain an additional 20% chance. Or, I love that second one, gain the ability to reset a broken drill or saw with a melee attack. 50% chance, but can only be used once per time that drill or saw is broken. So you just basically punch the drill and hopefully it will start again. And then Fire Trap, trip mines now spread fire, and that fire duration is now increased. Unless it's been moved somewhere else, I'm not seeing the sentry mode for your trip mines anymore. Unless that's been folded into them. And then Oppressor is basically your more offensive abilities as a technician. You gain increased weapon accuracy and stability. Your shots have 5% chance to stagger, except for bulldozers and Captain Winners. Or you can make that a 20% chance. Gain accuracy while firing from the hip, and the penalties reduce. Get more bullets in your magazine, and your ranged weapons can now pierce through enemy body armor. That used to be the tan FBI agents who you can only normally kill them with a shot to the head. Now you have a chance at possibly killing them otherwise. Lock and load. You can now hip fire while sprinting. As you can see, killing 2 enemies with those specific weapons set to automatic fire will reduce your next reload time by up to 60%. And then lastly, body expertise. Percentage of the bonus headshot damage is applied to hitting enemies in the body, but it only works for those specific weapons. That's a very interesting skill, especially if you combine with a weapon in automatic fire mode. And you can really see that damage adding up quickly. The Ghost has also seen some big changes. It's now been separated into silent-based attacking, dodging, and stealth skills. So Shinobi, level 1, you get the ability to mark enemies while casing, you get the increased time before you start getting detected, and you can now pick up items in casing mode, which used to be a little bit higher on the respective trees. Sixth Sense is back, and it's also been folded into all the Insider assets, all those little bonuses you could get, like putting down poison cakes, opening doors, the stuff that you had to normally unlock with Inside Job, I think, from the Mastermind. Cleaner, additional body bag, and you can place more body bag cases. Nimble is definitely a new skill. They folded in the ability to lockpick with the ability to disable cameras. So now you can just disable one camera, and you get the lockpick skill, which lets you lockpick safes. Those two used to be very high up on the Ghost skill tree. Now it's a little bit easier to get to them if you want to specialize there. ECM Overdrive increases the feedback duration and lets you open up electronic doors. And then the final one, ECM Specialist. This one just folds in all that. You can now place 2 jammers instead of 1. And the jammer durations increase, the feedback's longer, and now pagers are delayed. Now, Artful Dodger is going to be one you're going to really pay attention to if you want to try and build a dodge build. Tier 1, Duck and Cover, stamina starts regenerating, and then Tier Ace, you get a 10% increased chance to dodge while sprinting. You're definitely going to need that if you want to start to build that dodge build up. Parkour, gain additional movement speed while climbing, and then the Ace version, I think this is quite interesting. The basic skill you probably aren't going to use all that much, so they made the Ace skill really awesome. You gain the ability to sprint in any direction, and you can run and reload. Those 2 abilities used to be on 2 separate skills. One was, I think, actually they were both like really high up in their respective skills before, or I'm sorry, skill trees. Now you can get them quite early as long as you get that not exactly amazing skill of additional movement speed. Inner Pockets increase concealment of melee weapons, and then increase concealment of ballistic vests by 4. That is important because it relates to the top tier skill here, which we'll get to in a minute. Shockproof, this used to be, I believe, in the Technician line. It's now here in Artful Dodger. When tased, the shock effect has a 30% chance to backfire. And then the Ace version, you can basically control it yourself. Dire Need. When your armor breaks, the first shot on every enemy will cause that enemy to stagger. This effect ends when your armor regenerates. and then you can make it last after your armor has regenerated. So essentially, this is a way that if you lose your armor, which if you're dodging, you don't have low armor to begin with, you now have the ability to stop enemies from doing anything to you, at least through your first shot to them. Essentially giving you a chance to hopefully get into cover and let your armor regenerate again. And then, of course, the big one, Sneaky Bastard. This used to be on the Fugitive line. You gain 1% dodge for every 3 points of concealment under 35, up to 10. Or you gain 1% dodge for every 1 point under 35, up to 10. This is where the inner pockets come in handy to give you additional concealment to get that concealment level so low. Before, this used to be paired with the Fugitive's ability to get a critical hit chance improved the lower your concealment was. And that was typically a Fugitive build, was to get those two skills. And then have the combined lower concealment and the dodge to make you like a high damage character. Then Silent Killer. When your armor breaks, your movement speeds increase. Or you can make it so that your entire crew gets it too. Optical Illusions. You are 45% less likely to be targeted. And the Ace one is definitely for people who want to use silencers. You gain 1 concealment for each silenced weapon. And reduces the penalty by 2. The Professional increases stability and Snap to Zoom for silenced weapons, and then Ace gets the weapon accuracy. Low Blow, this was a skill that used to be on the Fugitive line. It was, I think, either the highest tier or the second highest. Similar to the Sneaky Bastard up here. You gain 3% critical hit chance for 3 points of concealment under 35 up to 30, or you can make it 1 point of concealment every 1 point under 35 up to 30%. So if you're going for a critical hit based build, you're going to want this skill. Specialized Killing, you deal more damage with silenced weapons. Basically a way of letting you have your cake and eat it too. You can have a silenced weapon, which means enemies are less likely to hear you and target you, and you can do more damage. I haven't ran the numbers yet, but originally this kind of skill also allowed you to actually do more damage with the silenced version than without. I haven't seen what that is this time though. And then Unseen Strike. If you do not lose any armor or health for 4 seconds, you gain 35 critical hit for 6 seconds, or you can increase it to 18. So that's basically a way of giving you a critical hit chance on top of Low Blow. And again, it should be paired quite nicely with, where was it? Here is Optical Illusions. And then lastly, the Fugitive Tree has been, as you can see, changed into 3 as well. 1 for akimboing, 1 for keeping yourself in the fight, and 1 for melee combat. Gunslinger. All the pistol skills that used to be in the Mastermind have now been moved over here. First one, decrease the time it takes to draw and holster pistols. Gain 8 weapon accuracy. Akimbo is now a low tier skill. That used to be, I think, at the top of the Fugitive Tree before. So the first one, your Akimbo weapon stability is reduced by 8. And then you gain an additional 1 and have increased ammo. Your pistol magazine sizes are increased by 5, and you gain increased rate of fire. Base damage is increased by 5, and then additional 10 ace. Desperado gives you accuracy bonus, and you can also reload pistols faster. And then Trigger Happy, for every hit with a pistol you gain 20% damage boost, and you can increase that duration up to 10 seconds. So essentially, if you want to be using pistols, specifically if you want to be akimboing pistols as well, you're going to want to go up this tree. Reverent, gain 50% increased bleed out damage, gain additional down. Your reload and swap weapon speed is 100% faster after being revived, and you can move faster when ace. Take 30% less damage after being revived, and you gain 15% of your maximum health after being revived, which could be paired quite nicely with this one if your buddy has it. Swan Song, instead of getting down instantly, you gain the ability to keep on fighting. You can improve that duration and make it so that your ammunition won't be depleted. This was a fugitive tree ability before. It's been moved basically a little bit further down, making it a little bit more easily to get. Feigning Death. When you get down, you have a 15% chance to get revived, and you can raise up to an additional 30. This used to be part of the 9 lives skill that was a ghost power, which has now been moved here. And then Messiah, which used to be Pistol Messiah back with the Mastermind, has now been moved here. If you kill if you kill an enemy while you're in bleed out, you'll revive. And then you can make that charge replenish whenever you use a doctor bag. Quite interesting, it's been moved all the way over here, and it's now for any weapon instead of just for pistol. Then lastly, for everyone who likes to use combat in close range, the Brawler, and these just be a combination of Ghost and Enforcer skills. First one, take 50% less damage from all melee, 50% more likely to knock down enemies. Every kill you get will increase your next one by 100%, up to 300. And then whenever you kill him, you will gain an additional 50% increase in reload speed. Pumping Iron. Melee attacks against non-specials do 50% more damage. Then you can make it do more damage to specials. Berserker. This used to be a high tier enforcer ability. Lower the health, the more damage you do. And originally it's just for melee and saw. When you go to the ace, it does it for range as well. When you enter Berserker state, it negates regeneration effects. So certain perk decks and certain abilities could give you more health. Those will be disabled once you go Berserk. Counter Strike. This used to be a higher tier skill for the Fugitive. Charging your melee weapon, you can counterattack enemies. And then with the Ace version, you can basically counter cloakers. And then Frenzy. You only get 30% of your maximum health and cannot heal above it, but you take 30% less health damage. And then with the Ace version, health damage taken is now reduced by 60, and healing receivers reduced by 50. So you're basically going for having less health, but you're going to resist more damage. And that is all the 15, I should say, sub-trees in Payday 2 now. It's still very early in the new patch's lifespan, so we don't know the full extent, but you can see it's definitely changed a lot of the game around. A lot of the basic skills that used to be parts of every build are now considered the tier 0 skills, such as being able to improve your saws faster, or reduce flashbang resistance. And now each tree is a lot more specialized, and then you get some really powerful perks for going up them. From what it's looking like, you really do want to get a lot of the tier 0 skills that match with your build. So like Sharpshooter would be good for just about everyone. Artful Dodger can be good as well. And then you really need to commit to what you want to do in terms of these top tier skills, tier 4. So if you want to be a dodger, you're going to basically go up here every time. If you want to do more with your engineer and your deployables, this is for you. Now, of course, it's important to mention that everything we talked about, it's still subject to change. You never know when Overkill will decide to change a skill or change some of the attributes around, depending upon how the balance goes now that it's in full retail. Another thing to keep in mind, the game is still, in terms of difficulty-wise, balanced behind or balanced with the previous skill builds and those settings. So they haven't gone around to making the game any harder now that you can hold additional sentry guns, you get more deployables, all that other good stuff. And I'm sure that will be coming sooner than later. But I think that's going to do it for this look. We even get to the changes in the perk decks, but I'll leave that for someone else to do. I hope this has helped you out, especially if you're either a new player to Payday 2 or a returning one who's now arrived to all these crazy changes. But that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed it, be sure to share with your friends and, of course, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out game-wisdom.com, where I examine the art and science of games. Subscribe on Twitch and Twitter under GW Bycer to get the latest updates when content goes live, as well as thoughts from me throughout the day. And you can find me on Patreon under Game Wisdom. Any donations would be greatly appreciated to allow me to keep putting out great content and provide more value to you guys with greater content on the site and more Twitch streams as well. Anyway, that's going to do it for this look at Payday 2's new skill system. I'll leave you with my guy in a badass akimbo pose with the Mega Plague Doctor. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and see you all again real soon.